Okay, everybody, what is up, and welcome back to the reactions. This time, it's try not to laugh at these people celebrating too early, and I have not seen this video, so we're gonna make this interesting. I got 6 hot sauces. They range from jalapeno to garlic. There's like 2 habaneros. One's a mango habanero, and then one's a extra hot sauce. So what we're gonna do, if I laugh at any point, I will have a shot glass right there. Shot glass full of the hot sauces mixed. And then, literally right after, and I have nothing to drink. Nothing. Like, nothing. So, like I said, we have a mango, a garlic, which I hate. I hate strong garlic, which is weird. But I like garlic, but I hate strong garlic. Extra hot, which, whatever. Just straight habanero. So that means this is gonna be like a sweet. The one I'm gonna hate is because I hate the taste of jalapeno, but I love the heat. And it's just, whatever. Because this video is only 9 minutes. And boss battle, Chipotle. The last one was Chipotle. So if I laugh at any point, and I will be honest, I will do a shot glass full of all 6 sauces mixed. So that being said, let's go.
It's never a good idea to celebrate anything ahead of time because sometimes at the very last second, everything can come crashing down in flames and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And to make matters worse, that horrible, embarrassing moment is going to be very funny to the people watching. Ready to take a look? Let's get it on. It's true that people will always remember the sports person with the most style. However, style isn't likely to be the thing that wins you Olympic gold medals.
Oh, no.
Snowboarder Lindsay Jacobellis will be keen to tell you that. She learned that lesson the hard way back at the 2006 Winter Olympics in the snowboard cross event. She was the reigning world champion at the time and a clear favorite, and she proved that quickly by taking an incredible lead pretty much straight out of the gate. With only 2 jumps to go, she was way out in front, so she decided to add some flair to her victory in an event that doesn't give points for style. It didn't pay off. Always win first and add style later.
So just 2 jumps to go and Jacobellis is down! Jacobellis has fallen!
The best part about this early celebration is something you might not immediately notice, but that's why I'm here. We've seen this before. A goalkeeper leaves the goal unattended to celebrate what he thinks is a victory while the ball finds its way into the net. It's always funny, but this one's extra special because this goalkeeper had no reason to celebrate that hard. He didn't save that ball. The player just missed the goal. It's fine to be happy, but having a whole parade is a really disproportionate response here. It's always nice to see a cocky goalkeeper put in his place.
My question is, what the heck?
The NBA is one of the world's most popular sports leagues, and it really isn't hard to see why. It's filled with amazing moments of skill and dexterity, and moments like this. The wonderful thing about this game is the attitude the players bring to it. Here, Nick Young celebrates this 3-point shot with an amazing amount of swagger.
Man,
so much swag, in
that's
fact,
where
that
Swaggy
he
P was.
didn't know he'd missed the shot. But it's not like that's the only time that's happened in NBA history, and it's not like Young has the most attitude in the sport either.
Kemba.
Case in point, Kemba Walker.
Still an opportunity with a minute to play.
We can all learn a life lesson from this runner. Always try your best. He's so certain he can't be beaten that not only does he start telling the crowd to cheer for his victory way before he's anywhere near the finish line,
from
he's
Washington.
also smug enough to be practically jogging the last few feet. It's a beautiful moment because he has no idea that the crowd isn't cheering him on. They're cheering for his opponent, who's rapidly gaining on him from behind. Just look at his face when he realizes he was beaten. He's so annoyed with the winner. Just run faster. Drifting is known as one of the most difficult things you can do with a car. That definitely makes doing it well an achievement worthy of celebration, but it also means that the celebration and the drifting probably shouldn't happen at the same time. You don't understand why?
No,
well,
you never
just
do
watch.
That was not a good drift anyways.
See? Rather keep your hands on the wheel and wave to your adoring fans after the car has stopped moving, or there might not be a car left to wave from. It's great to play your sport with showmanship, but as in every industry, it's important that you don't go too far, because then you start playing with style over substance. Kosuke Hashino learned his lesson about that though. It's a great play, sure, and the field is wide open, so it's not unreasonable for him to assume that he's going to make this try. So he goes for one of the most stylish tries of his career. After all, nobody can stop him now. Except himself. You can always get in your own way. Did you ever have that moment when writing exams when you thought you were finished, then looked around and realized you'd missed a page? Now imagine that, but instead you're in an international cycling competition. Luka Pibernik thought he'd won, and you can't fault his logic, he had crossed the finish line. The only problem was it wasn't the last lap of the race. He realized his mistake when he looked back and saw how hard everyone else was cycling, and no, in the end, he didn't win. The funniest thing about this football fail is actually the crowd. Karim Balut was actually offside when he made his shot for the goal. The ball went in the net and he decided that was enough for a celebration and never bothered to find out otherwise before running off toward his adoring crowd to celebrate. And they just cheer and jump with them. They must have realized it was offside. They weren't facing away from the field like him. Are they just humoring him? Is it wishful thinking? Someone really should have told him.
He's still going on. It won't count, Karim. I'm sorry.
Winning is great, but the problem with being the person who is always ahead of the pack is that you don't have the right perspective to be able to learn from others. Ricardo Russo encountered that problem here. If he'd had a few people out in front of him, he'd have realized that there was still one lap to go instead of abandoning the race to celebrate a victory that wasn't won yet. It takes the poor guy ages to realize everyone else was still racing. His racing skills are fine, now he just needs to work on counting.
No, he's punching the air, he's celebrating, I think, and I think this race is still going on here, and he hasn't realized.
When you win a major championship, the first thing you'd want to do is celebrate with your team and family waiting for you on the sidelines. It's very important that you remember to cross the finish line first, though. That was Bjorn Werdheim's only mistake. He was way out in front and only moments away from the checkered flag, but that's not going to help if you come to a stop at that point like he did.
In fact, slows by his pit. He slowed too early.
He only realized his mistake when his opponent came past him at lightning speed. Too late. He came second, but I don't think his team wanted to join in that celebration after the first one he tried to start. If you're a baseball fan, you'll know all about the freeze. This fan had a chance to race the mysterious man during a match between Atlanta and the New York Mets, and he got a huge head start too, which might have helped him if he hadn't been so sure of himself that he slowed down right near the finish line to invite adoration from the crowd. What's that saying about the bigger they are, the harder they fall? Well, his head was definitely big enough and it did fall pretty far, so I guess that saying is true. We're usually advocates for the sentiment to
That's
go
the one
big
that hurts.
or go
Like
home.
he had
And
that.
that's probably not true if what you're going big on is a premature celebration. This World Series poker player knows that now. He went all out in celebration of a $1 million win and made sure to seriously rub his win in his opponent's face, shouting, prancing around, ripping off his cardigan, and throwing it on the floor, which to start with is an odd choice of clothing if that's what you're going to be doing, but that wasn't the big problem with his huge private party. The real mistake was that he chose to celebrate before the final card was dealt. But to be fair, there was only one card that could lead to a win for his opponent. Never forget, it can really come back to bite you, and if you're gonna celebrate like this, you're probably going to regret it.
Oh my God! No way!
These embarrassing moments pop up all the time, and they're not only limited to athletes in sports, as you're about to find out. In fact, one of the most widely seen early celebrations happened at the Oscars. Have a look at how Warren Beatty shuffles around with that envelope while trying to announce the Best Picture Oscar. He knows something's wrong, and he's correct. They gave him the wrong card. And then...
La La Land.
Now watch as the most cringeworthy moment in TV history gets even worse, when the producers just let the makers of the wrong film give their acceptance speeches. Awkward.
We lost, by the way, but, you know. There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
Moonlight, Best Picture.
It's not only about celebrating early, it's also about the precise moment you choose to celebrate. Megan Rutledge had an amazing race and was
X
way
Games, I
out
was
in the
watching
lead,
this live.
so she
It
took a moment to
sucked.
pump her fist in celebration of her soon-to-be
Problem
win
is she took
while
her
at
hand
the
off the
peak of an
throttle.
impressive jump. Unfortunately, she
she
made
would've
a
hit the
tiny
brakes-
mistake, which she could have corrected if only she hadn't taken her hand off the throttle. She didn't have the time to correct the mistake before her
she
bike
would-
landed nose
happens is
down and
you're nosing
crashed,
over.
giving her
If you hit the
almost
gas, the
thoroughly
tire
beaten opponents the
starts to
opportunity to take the
level it
lead.
back
Just
out.
remember, your opponents are even more inclined to want to beat you if you take a moment to rub their noses in your lead. So always save your celebrations for after you've crossed the finish line if you want to avoid tears. Sports are very psychological, even though they're meant to be physical. You can never trust that your opponents aren't psyching you out or
Blindside, good
outright
movie.
tricking you. Lin Che Swan definitely worked out how to use that to his advantage. Just watch him miss this ball and then magically throw the ball back toward the infield. Was it witchcraft? Nope, just good old-fashioned acting, as replays will show. He clearly caught the ball but tricked everyone, even commentators with his acting skills. It seriously paid off too, as the batter trotted along toward what he was sure was a home run, but was actually just a lie. It's bad enough when a lone sportsman abandons a game to celebrate a victory he hasn't won. It's way worse when the whole team checks out. Sure, this Croatian team did land a three-pointer only 6 seconds before the end of the game, which is great, but maybe they should have waited the last 6 seconds before huddling with their backs to their opponents in celebration. The KK Partizan team from Serbia were well aware of the
Boom.
6 seconds
Half
that were
court
left, though,
exit.
and were determined to use
Boom.
all of them to their full potential.
So there you go. I didn't laugh. So yeah. You know what? I think every time we do a do not laugh or try not to laugh, this will be the forfeit. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Make sure you turn notifications on to see when the next time I do the challenge, which I think will be once a week. That being said, bye.